The Invitation to the Truth. Welcome to the 4th chapter of our documentary on the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The content presented in this chapter is taken from the book Muhammad Rasul Allah, Volume 1, Part 1, by Hazret Khwaja Shamsuddin Azeemi Sahib, Rahmatullah alayhi, after the revelation of verse 214 of Surah Ash-Shu'ara, وَأَنذِرْ عَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ, meaning invite your close relatives to the religion of Islam. The Prophet, peace be upon him, gathered his uncles and their children at a feast and conveyed the message of truth. Hearing this, Abu Lahab spoke, "Your family does not have the strength to compete with all of Arabia. Do not talk of foolish things. For you, your father's family is enough. If you remain firm on your word, it will be very easy for all the people of Quraysh to fall upon you, and the rest of Arabia will also help them, and I am the most rightful to seize you." At this, the noble Prophet, peace be upon him, adopted silence and did not have any conversation in this gathering. After some time, the Prophet, peace be upon him, gathered them again, and after the praise and glorification of Allah Almighty, announced his prophethood. But the family members turned a deaf ear and did not accept anything. When the command to preach to the relatives was implemented, the verse of Surah Al-Hijr was revealed. Translation: "So proclaim openly what you have been commanded and pay no heed to the polytheists." Verse 94: "In compliance with the command, our Master, peace and blessings be upon him, invited the people of Mecca to gather at Mount Safa on an appointed day, because he wanted to convey an important matter to them. All the people, which included the close relatives of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, gathered at Mount Safa. Standing on an elevation, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, addressed the attendees, saying, 'O people, if I state an important matter for you, will you accept it?' The attendees said in one voice, 'O Muhammad, peace be upon him, we believe your word because we know that you are truthful and never tell a lie.' The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, 'O people, Allah has selected me for prophethood, and I am appointed by him so that I may invite you to obey the divine commands and to obey Allah Almighty. And if you people turn your faces away from the obedience of Allah, then his wrath will descend upon you.'" When the Prophet, peace be upon him, uttered these words, Abu Lahab shouted and said, "O Muhammad, did you call us here to tell us this very thing? And did you not think that these things are not of such importance that we should leave our business and come here?" Then Abu Lahab addressed the people present there, "Do not lend an ear to his words and return to your homes. Muhammad has lost his mind." People dispersed and went back to their respective homes. Only 2 people remained with the Prophet, one Hazret Ali and the other Hazret Zaid. After this incident, the close relatives of the Prophet started a confrontation against him and began making him a target of taunts and mockery. When the group of Quraysh, and especially Abu Lahab and his wife Jamil, saw that the arrows of their tongues were apparently having no effect, those people stooped to inflicting various kinds of tortures on the Prophet of Islam. Even though Abu Lahab and his wife belonged to the civilized class of Mecca, morally they belonged to the extremely lowest level. They both used to throw stones toward the Prophet, due to which the windows of his house, which were made of wood, would break. Not only this, but by giving money, they would get stray children to throw stones at the Prophet's house, and had the entrails of dead animals and their filth thrown into the house of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Whenever the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, stepped out of the house upon the instigation of Jamil and Abu Lahab, the children of the streets and other stray people would throw stones at him. Due to this, blood would start flowing from his head and face. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, would wipe the blood with his clothes, and when he reached back home, Hazret Khadija would ask in a sorrowful tone, "O Muhammad, did you suffer much grief today?" The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, would say in reply, "O Khadija, when a person comes to know for what purpose and for whose sake he is suffering grief, then he does not retain the feeling of sorrow and pain." Abu Lahab's wife used to lay sharp thorns in the path of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, so that they would prick his feet. And when the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, reached home and removed the thorns from his feet, blood would flow out. The family members of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, inflicted so much pain upon him that one day, becoming disheartened, he presented before God, "O Allah, you know better, none of them is ready to accept your religion." On this occasion, Allah Almighty consoled his beloved, peace be upon him. Translation: So proclaim openly what you have been commanded and pay no heed to the polytheists. We are sufficient on your behalf against the mockers. Those who set up another deity with Allah, they will soon come to know, and we know that your heart feels constricted by what they say. So remember the praises of your Lord and be among those who prostrate, and worship your Lord until there comes to you the certainty. Surah Al-Hijr verses 94 to 99. When Abu Lahab saw that our master, peace and blessings be upon him, did not stop speaking the truth, he crossed the limits of meanness. Two daughters of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, Hazret Ruqayya and Hazret Kulthum, were married into the house of Abu Lahab. To afflict the Prophet, peace be upon him, with grief, he got his two sons to divorce them and sent them to their father's house, and sent word that it does not suit the sons of Abu Lahab that their wives be the daughters of a person like Muhammad, peace be upon him, because today Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the victim of hatred, and maintaining relations with such a person is viewed with shame in Mecca. Hazret Khadija was very disheartened by this incident, but the Prophet, peace be upon him, advised patience. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was a father, and like all other parents, he too was shocked by the ruining of his daughters' households. But despite family enmity and various kinds of psychological pressures, his steps did not falter, and he did not show negligence in preaching the religion of God. Nevertheless, up to the 4th year of prophethood, his close relatives and other members of the Quraysh tribe kept inflicting different kinds of tortures upon him. After this, they made a plan to remove the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, from their path. The reason for this was that he had practically started the proclamation, and he used to say to his relatives and other members of the Quraysh tribe, "Do not worship those gods which you yourselves have made with your own hands. Worship only that God who has no partner and who is the master of the entire universe." The Quraysh would ask whether you want us to stop worshipping those gods whose worship our forefathers used to do. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said in reply, "Yes, leave the worship of self-made gods, worship the one Allah." Hearing this answer, the rage and anger of the Quraysh intensified, and they started thinking about a decisive step. The Prophet, peace be upon him, used to proceed toward the Kaaba, and there he would become engaged in the worship of God. The Quraysh imposed a ban on the Prophet, peace be upon him, that he cannot enter the house of Allah, Baitullah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications. See you next time. Allah Hafiz.